Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of 325, it is an honor to be here and serve with them this week. It's an honor to live up to the legacy that 325 has left behind. For those that don't know, back in 2005, 2006, 325 lost 46 Marines and 2 Navy corpsmen in combat operations in Al Anbar province. And it's an honor for us to be here to live up to their legacy. So thank you, 325, for having us out here this week. And to the ladies and gentlemen of Cleveland, it's an honor to be here. Now, as you guys have walked around this week, you saw some of our static displays, you saw some of the demonstrations. But please keep in mind to the Marines and war veterans that are here as well, to the Marines and veterans of World War II, Vietnam, Korea, it's an honor to be here with you as well. So thank you. Now before we get into our demonstration, I just want to talk and give you a brief history about our program. As we know, we started out with our Continental Marines. Now our Continental Marines were the ones that were on the ship's rigs taking out our enemy combatants with their rifles. So they were known as the sharpshooters. Moving into World War I, we got into our trench warfare. Now Marines were going through trenches, clearing out trenches with either rifle on rifle, rifle against a weapons of opportunity, or rifle against an unarmed Marine. So we have to be able to train in all three of these aspects. Moving on to World War II, we had our Marine Raiders. Now what's so significant with the Marine Raiders is this was the first Marine battalion to have martial arts within the Marine Corps. The only problem with this is if I was in the 1st Battalion of the Marine Raiders and I was a wrestler, then I would go back and train my Marines how to wrestle. If I was in the 2nd Battalion and I was a boxer, then I would go and train my Marines how to box. So there wasn't a set pattern of what we did. Everybody was learning something different. So the Marine Corps got together and we came up with a program called LINE, Linear Infighting Neural Override Engagements. Now the only problem with this system is that everything ended in a killing blow. We always wanted to take out and kill our aggressor. Now as we all know, the world has changed a little bit and the Marine Corps is also involved in humanitarian peacekeeping type missions. So we had to develop a program and evolve our program to fit these needs. So in 2001, we came up with our program that we call MCMAP, the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. Now in our program, we have 5 belt levels. We have tan, gray, green, brown, and black. What you're gonna see first in our demonstration is some of our tan belt techniques, working on the basic principles of how to properly throw a punch with rapid retraction, no telegraphing, and working on their movement as well. When these Marines go and do these techniques throughout this demonstration, they're gonna go between 15 and 20% of their effort at all times, keeping it nice and slow so you can see everything that's going on. So first off, demonstration, some of our tan belt techniques. So as you saw right there, those are some of our tan belt techniques. Now every Marine is trained in this program, the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. They receive their tan belt at boot camp, either Parris Island, San Diego, or the basic school for officers. So every Marine beginning at their career is trained in this program. As they progress through belts, going on from tan belt, they work on their gray belt. There's a set amount of hours for each belt for them to achieve their next belt. And they have to be proficient in the previous belts. So, moving on to our gray belt, we move into some of our ground stuff. We also have the standing portion and the ground portion in the gray belt syllabus. But the thing about our program is it's a weapons-based system. So everything we do, we train with weapons. So whether it's standing up or on the ground, it's always trained with some type of weapon. What you're gonna see right now is some of our techniques to how to take an aggressor to the ground. As we all know, in a fight, most fights end up on the ground. So we're always in the mindset of controlling the battlefield. And once we control the battlefield, if we decide to take our aggressor to the ground, that's what we make happen. So here's some of the techniques that we offer to our Marines. Now keep in mind, they're going about 20% on all these techniques. Now as they progress through the belt system, once you become a gray belt, you're afforded the opportunity to attend a 3-week course. And that's our martial arts instructor course. Now in this 3-week course, what makes our program so unique is it's not only the physical aspects that we train, but also the mental and character. And we train the mental and character aspects by studying warrior studies, such as Corporal Todd Corbin, from headquarters of Service Battalion 325, who received the Navy Cross for his actions in Al-Anbar province. We also studied the Marines that paid the ultimate sacrifice and gave their life for us to be here today. We studied the battles that they fought in, the wars that they fought in, different martial cultures such as the Apaches, the Spartans, the Raiders, the Zulus, you name it. We study it to try to hone ourselves and make ourselves better Marines and better leaders. And as I said in the beginning, this is a weapons system. So everything that we train with is with our weapons. So the next thing that you're gonna see is some of our bayonet techniques. As we talked about in World War I, going through that trench warfare, you never know what your opponent has. So we have to train in all aspects. So what you're gonna see right now is weapon on weapon, a rifle on rifle, and rifle against a weapon of opportunity. Keep in mind, they're gonna go about 15 to 20%, so you can see everything going on. Now in our program, as we progress through the belt systems, it's not only one-on-one engagements, but we also train 1-on-2, 2-on-2, 1-on-3, whatever it may be, we're always training for that worst case scenario. Now moving into closer range, we just saw the rifles, we're gonna move into some of our pistol techniques. Now these Marines can go back and forth all day long taking a pistol away from somebody, but here's a quick snapshot of what we offer to our Marines and how to disarm somebody with the pistol. Keep in mind that was about 20%, ladies and gentlemen. Now, once again, these Marines can go back and forth all day long, training disarmament and retention with the pistol, but we also train with the knife, moving into a closer engagement. Now, as we talked about before, the martial arts instructor course. Once they graduate from the martial arts instructor course, they have the opportunity to come to our schoolhouse in Quantico, Virginia, where we teach the martial arts instructor trainer course. This is a 7-week schoolhouse of not only teaching the physical aspects of the program, but also the mental and character. And we added in things such as combat conditioning to make sure our Marines are physically fit to go to combat. Now in this 7 weeks, we go over everything in our program, because once they graduate our school, they take that back out to the Fleet Marine Force and make instructors. And those instructors will go out and train the other Marines. Right now, there's currently about 650 martial arts instructor trainers within the Marine Corps. Our program has 6 degrees. Some of the Marines you see walking around here have a tan tab on their belt. That signifies a martial arts instructor. As you see, myself and these Marines right here, we have a red tab, and that signifies a martial arts instructor trainer. And we have 6 degrees. So if you see 1 red tab, 1st degree, 2 red tabs, 2nd degree, all the way up to 6 degrees. Now myself and these gentlemen right here have been around for a little bit, so we're a little bit senior in the program, I guess you would say. Next thing you're gonna see is some of our knife techniques. So in our program, we teach both offensive and defensive, always working for that worst case scenario. We go through tactical decision games and a lot of scenario-based training. Here are some of the techniques that we offer to our Marines when disarming somebody with a knife. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please give them another round of applause for the physical aspect of our program. Now, as we talked about before, we also train the mental and character aspects. And I'll tell you right now, I couldn't work with a better group of guys in my building. These guys are the epitome of what it means to be a Marine. Their leadership, their professionalism is outstanding. Now, as Marines, we all know that we were born in a bar, Ton Tavern, 1775. But as a martial arts instructor trainer, it's our job to push out to the Marine Corps to let you guys know that you are safer because the Marines are here. We're not here to start any problems or have any issues with anybody in Cleveland. We're here to make you guys safer. So it's our job to train the mentality to our Marines. But as we said before, we also talk about the character and mental aspects of our program. And what I want to do right now is give you one story that kind of ties in both the character and mental aspects of being a Marine. And this story is about my son. So I apologize if you guys have heard this before. Up in Public Square, I gave this one before. So I apologize if you guys have heard it before. But now, who's ever had that bad day at work? Everybody, at some point you've had a bad day at work. That goes for all of us. Now I had this horrible day 2 months ago. And now I have a 5-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. And I love them to death. And every time when I walk in the door from after work, they both come up and give me a hug and kiss. And it's like the best part of my day. But this day that I had a bad day at work, I I walked into my house and they acted like I didn't even exist. They didn't even care why I was there. My son eventually comes up to me, and out of the blue he asks me, he's like, "Daddy, how much money do you make an hour?" You know, keep in mind he's 5 years old. What in the world do you care how much money I make an hour? So being a Marine, you know how to embellish just a little bit. So I told him I make $50 an hour. And he got this big smile on his face. He's like, "Daddy, can I borrow $25? I'm kind of thinking to myself, why in the world do you want $25? I was like, if this is just to buy some other toy, you know, go march yourself up to your room. And he looks at me, he has that frown on his face, and he marches himself up to his room. He's a good boy. So as I go and I eat dinner, I'm thinking to myself, you know, why in the world does my son want to borrow $25? You know, he doesn't ask me for money for much. But this one instance just sticks in my mind. So as I'm eating dinner, kind of calming myself down, I decide, you know what, I'm gonna give him this money. So I finish my dinner, I go upstairs, you know, "Hey buddy, you still awake?" And he gets up out of bed, he's like, "Yeah Dad, I'm awake." He's like, "Here's that $25 you asked for." And you should have seen the smile on his face, it was huge. But as I gave him the $25, he reaches underneath his pillow. And underneath his pillow was a bunch of crumpled up dollar bills. So he already had money. So now I'm thinking to myself, I just gave you $25, you have money underneath your pillow, now you have more money than I do. What in the world did you need this money for? And he looks at me, he's like, "Thank you, Daddy, thank you. You know, now I have enough money." I was like, "What are you talking about, son?" And he starts counting. 35, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and hands me this $50. He's like, "Daddy, now I have enough money. Can I buy an hour of your time? And can you come home from work an hour early and have dinner with me tomorrow?" My heart was crushed. Everybody knows those #1 dad pens, right? The pencils, that wasn't me that day. But I tell this story because after he said that to me, all I could think about is how much I've devoted my life to the Marine Corps. And any Marine out here today can tell you, it doesn't matter if I met him yesterday or today or 3 years ago, I will put my life on the line for that Marine. And any Marine in this crowd will tell you the same thing. It doesn't matter from World War II to present day. Once a Marine, always a Marine. We'll still have that brotherhood. The problem that the Marine Corps has right now, though, is I can dedicate 100% of my life to my Marines. But we have to live that equal and balanced life, and we have to dedicate 100% of our time to our family as well. Because as we're forward deployed in Iraq or Afghanistan, it's our spouses, our husbands, our wives that are back home taking care of the kids, taking care of the bills, and it's up to them to keep the day-to-day operations going while we're out there in combat operations. So these are some of the things that we share with our Marines of life stories, because I know out here in this crowd, somebody can relate to that story, and somebody has devoted so much time to their job that maybe they've lost a loved one because of it. We're here to stop that. We're here to make sure that you live that equal and balanced life, to devote all your time not only to your job, and do the best of your ability, but also know that your family is there and they need you as well. So it's up to us to support them, just as we support our Marines. So that's part of our character, that's part of our mental and character tie-ins that we give to our Marines. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our demonstration for the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program.